Hi, my name's Kimmana and welcome to Holistic Nomads TV, where ancient wisdom and modern science can help you to have more clarity and energy in your life. Today's class is called The Truth About Bloating, and this whole series is looking at the early signs of imbalance so that we can see these at an early stage and catch disease before it becomes much more serious. Bloating is one of the early stages of a Vata imbalance, so stage 1 and 2, where Vata starts to affect the colon and the digestive tract before it spreads into other areas of the body. So if we then take this as a more serious indicator, we can cut out disease at its root before it then moves on to something to become much more serious. In Ayurveda, they classify a distension of bloating in the abdomen into 4 main areas. The first one is anaha. And this is where stool has become excessive and we're not evacuating properly within the body. Some form of constipation is building up within, and then that starts to create a bloating within the system. As we start to examine these 4 different types, we need to remember that this bloating sensation is not just from the colon. What happens is the colon starts to get inflamed with various different things, the first one being stool here, and then that inflammation starts to affect the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic is like our sewage system for the body. It moves through the legs and right up and wraps itself around the tissue of the colon. So a lot of the time the sensation that we're feeling when we touch is actually fluid swelling because of blocked challenge. So within anaha, it's blocked because of stool, and that feces is starting to distend and block the lymphatic circulation, and then the abdomen distends with that. The second classification in Ayurveda is Hamana, and this one is distension because of gas. So when there's not just stool, but there's lots of gas building up, and that bloating sensation of that gas pushing now influences the lymphatic system and starts to affect the body. The treatment would be fairly similar for both, but with anaha, we're going to be looking at evacuating the feces more. With gas, we're going to be looking at the proper digestion and food combinations to be able to get the best treatment. The third classification is known as a Tapa. And this relates to when the bloating is also accompanied by some gurgling sounds within the abdomen. This relates to the peristaltic motion of how it moves food through the digestive tract and will relate more to a nervous system issue in relation to the digestive tract. And the fourth classification is known as Avarta, and this is where we suppress the natural urges. Ayurveda says we should not suppress the natural urge. So if we feel the urge to evacuate feces, if we feel the urge to evacuate the bladder, we need to take it at that time. And if we don't take it at that time, our mind is our own enemy. We're not putting our lifestyle in a way that allows us to properly expel imbalance, mala, waste products from the body at the most ideal times when your body is telling you. In this class, we're going to focus on the first two, anaha and adhamana, that's stool and gas, because they have a very similar relationship within the lymphatic system, yet any indication of bloating still is showing an early warning sign of vata, some form of vata building up within the system, and you could start to treat vata in any way. Yet with these ones, we specifically are going to focus in on digestive function. Number one cause would be, how is your Agni, your metabolism, digesting your foods? So there's lots of classes where we've already gone through how to work with Agni. Check out the 7 tips for eating, we'll link it up below, the 7 tips for drinking, and also there's a class on the 3 ways to improve your digestion. They'll all help with Agni and all help with bloating, so we're not getting this regular symptom in the body. Also, be sure to download our Agni type test and our Ama type test. You'll find them on the resource section of holisticnomads.com, and they'll narrow in on what is your individual Agni type, what might be some digestive herbs and spices there to help with it, and the Ama test will show whether or not half digested byproducts are a major cause. It also has some treatment outlined within the Ama test. The second primary cause for bloating is some form of Vata derangement. So check out all the videos that relate to Vata. Here I'm going to look at the most specific ones that are likely for bloating, yet anything could be contributing to it in the direction of Vata. The number one specific one for Vata is mental and emotional stress. If we're eating while we're in a mental and emotional stress state, we won't be digesting well. Also, if we've just released a lot of emotional stress, then that can sometimes influence a temporary bloating while we release that vata, that nervous system stress from the colon on the next time we evacuate. As we move towards specific food that could be creating the vata derangement, we have legumes, some form of gas-forming legumes is a key one, and also raw foods will also tend to form gas for vata-dominant individuals. The third main cause for bloating is known as Suck Nia in Ayurveda. It means not suitable to you as an individual. Now, a Suck Nia could mean a specific intolerance, an allergy, where you're not digesting the food so well and is specific to you. As an example, for me, eggs are a Suck Nia. I won't digest egg white well. I'll have an immune response that will create bloating, gas, and lymphatic swelling throughout the body. To really narrow in on which foods might be intolerant to you, you could do two different things. One is a rotation elimination diet, meaning that you take away all the possible allergy-producing foods. You could find information on these sorts of diets online, and then you slowly introduce one at a time a specific food. This can take a long time to really narrow in on which food and can be really limiting to your diet. The second one is some form of testing, so an IgG, allergy test, immune sensitivity test would be a specific way to get down to like 80 to 100 different foods and whether or not your immune system is having a reaction to them. That's different to an IgE immune allergy where you're really going to know about that. You're going to eat the food and within 24 hours or less, usually quite instantly, you're going to get a reaction to an IgE. Whereas an IgG allergy could be slow. It could be 3 days later that the reaction happens. So it's much harder for you to make the connection without doing the testing. If that's something you're interested, you can email us back and we'll support you through doing that test at home. Moving into some specific treatments for bloating, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. The Truth About series is mainly about understanding an early sign of imbalance. So I'm going to look at one specific Ayurvedic formula that's specific for bloating. It's called Hing, or sometimes it's called Ashtachurnam. It's 8 different spices that are put together. The main one is Hing, sometimes known as asafoetida. It really helps with gas and bloating and good bacterial balance. It also has a little bit of black rock salt in there, and these can really help with the digestive system. You should be able to find that in the show notes below. We can link up where to find some Hing. The second one I look at is Triphala. Triphala is a tonic for the digestive system and particularly for elimination. It helps healthy elimination, whether it be Vata, Pitta or Kapha that's imbalanced. The formula is quite balanced, and again we can link that up in the show notes below. So taking a little bit of both of those, the Hing we take half a teaspoon, quarter to half a teaspoon in 30 ml of water just before the meal. That'd be 3 times a day. Whereas the Triphala, we'd probably be looking at a half to 1 teaspoon in a cup of warm water just before bed. If for some reason the Triphala is just too much for you to take, you can't handle the taste of it, the experience of taking it down in that way, then get capsules. That will still work fine. It will just work from the stomach down more and less on the mucous membranes up here. For this condition of bloating, it's probably going to be fine to use capsules or tablets. I want to summarize with the understanding of mild bloating and really persistent, gone on for a long time, everyday extreme bloating. If it's mild, then a lot of the things we've just talked about will be able to help. Balance Vata, use a little bit of Hingwashtak, take some Triphala, look at the 7 tips for eating and drinking, check if Ama is there. You should be able to adjust mild bloating at home yourself. Yet if it's been persistent, it's been going on for a long time, then you may really need professional help with this. And the Panchakarma process from Ayurveda, these are deep cleansing processes, is really powerful to help you. And I wouldn't just go, oh, toughen up, I'm going to deal with this bloating, because it could turn into a much more serious condition if left untreated. The serious Vata conditions are not something that anyone wants in their life, so trust me, try and find a way to work with a professional. You could come along and do the Vitality Now program with us, and we'll link that up in the notes below, or you could find a Panchakarma center near you, and the Panchakarma is going to look at 3 main cleansing actions. The first one is known as Basti. It's an Ayurvedic enema to adjust the colon and the seat of Vata, or Virechana is the second one. This is to work with the liver and the gallbladder and to cleanse out that channel from the liver and the gallbladder, bile, fat digestion. And the third one is Vamana. This is a vomiting process. It's not the same as just going at home and having a vomit. There would be all sorts of medications and things to prepare, and in that environment it's much easier. This would remove excess kapha, heaviness and phlegm from the system. This will only be needed if it's a more serious, persistent condition, and all of those treatments need to be supervised by a professional. So remember, bloating is an indication of something that is imbalanced inside your body. Catch it early, use your awareness, start to adjust your lifestyle, your diet, take a few little herbs, work with a professional, and you can have a nice balanced life and decrease your tendency towards disease. I hope this class has been beneficial for you, and if it has, maybe share it with others who it could also help out too. If you've got any questions for something personal related to yourself, then we'd love to help you out and create some specific steps on your path to health. You can submit your questions on holisticnomads.com/ask, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube below so you'll be notified when your question is answered. Until next time, all the best. Today's class is called The Truth About Bloating, and this whole series is looking at the early signs